is going to be how you and all of us can thrive in today's dynamic energy sector. So, you know, the energy sector is ever changing. It's undergoing rapid transformation, and this transformation are driven by advancement in technology, evolving market demand, and global push for sustainability. So, for us to be able to thrive in this landscape, we need to embrace innovation, and that is why we are here to, let young minds like you know that we need you out there. So whatever you can learn now and put it and come out there, it's very, very, very important. It's not just only technicalities, but also you need soft skills that will help you to thrive when you are out there. You need emotional intelligence. You need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to deal with your neighbors and colleagues and friends. So all of this we are going to learn in today's panelist section. So we are going to introduce our panelists for today. Of course, in no particular order, I'm going to call them up to the stage. And the first person on my list here is Engineer Abiodun Olaoye. We've already been introduced to him. We know he's the Managing Director for Gankco Energy Service, and he's a top engineer. And he has over 29 years of experience in well engineering all over the world, not just Nigeria, all over the world. So welcome, sir. Next on our list here is Ms. Naomi Peters. She's the Director of Admin and Corporate Services in Government Affairs of Gankco Energy Service. She's also the founder of Gankco Energy Service, and she's a seasoned professional with over 15 years in leadership and strategic management. Please help me welcome and give her a great round of applause. So next is Engineer Ehige Momodu. Engineer Ehige Momodu is a petroleum engineer with extensive experience, and he's currently the operation and technical manager for Gankco Energy Services. So Ehige, you are welcome. Please give him a round of applause. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Nathaniel Ojo. He's the head of human resource and capacity development at Gankco Energy Services. He's a dedicated professional with years of experience. And it's good to note that, let me also know that he too he's a licensed HR practitioner and a chartered, and he has been licensed by the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management both here in the US. So you're all welcome to this panel discussion, and this panel discussion is going to be interesting. Like I said, the energy sector is dynamic and is ever changing, and with these changes, we need to acquire skills and knowledge that will help us thrive, that will help you thrive out there. And so collaboration like this brings together your innovative minds and industry experts who have been out there, who have experienced the terrain, to be able to rub minds together. So after they answer some of our questions that we have for them today, you also have the opportunity to ask them questions so that you can learn from them. So in no particular order, I would like to ask Mr. Engineer Ehige Momodu, based on this topic, thriving in today's dynamic energy sector, how can petroleum engineers leverage on data analytics and artificial intelligence? It was mentioned in MD's talk, in exploration and production processes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hige, but I like to record it His for short. I'll just dive straight into the question, right? So we know amongst our younger generations now, petroleum engineers, everybody wants to be a data analyst, AI engineer, and all of that, right? But one thing, during the technical lecture, one thing that Mr. Alawi said was, AI and all of these things, they are just applications, right? It is garbage in and garbage out. What it does for us, it makes lives easier and faster, right? But the key is this, you must still know the basic. If you don't know the basic, you can't use the data analysis, you can't use the AI. So how do you want to leverage this? You go from the basic, you don't want to go over the stress of using your Excel sheet, like the way I used it during my time as a student, and come up with a lot of models and formulas and all of that. AI only makes life easier for you when you know what you are doing, right? So if you go and you have AI with you, it just makes life easy. An example is the common ChatGPT that we all know, right? You can't go to ChatGPT, you can train ChatGPT to give you what you want. Has anybody ever tried it? Now, as a petroleum engineer, if you have AI, you train it to what you want it to do for you, and it makes your life easier. So, having this added to your basic knowledge is how we as petroleum engineers can leverage these applications, AI and data analysis, and improve our careers.
Thank you very much. So in essence, what you need to be grounded in whatever you do now. Because if you're not grounded in whatever you do now, then how can you train the computer to tell you, to give you the results you want? Just as I say, garbage in, garbage out. So let's be grounded. Let's not forget, as Engineer Olayo has mentioned, and he continue mentioning, is do not forget what you are taught. So I would like to ask Ms. Peters, we know it's not always computer, the X, the Y, formulas and the rest of them. How can young professionals navigate career uncertainties and adapt to changes like industry downturns or shifting energy policies?
So hello everyone. Right, so navigating career uncertainties and adapting to changes like industry downturns or shifting energy policies can be very challenging, right? So, I mean, for young professionals, but a strategic approach can help them stay afloat and stay resilient and seize opportunities. So, some things that would be, ideal, an ideal approach to this situation could range from monitoring industry trends, understanding the big picture, invest in continuous learning. So sometimes you kind of reinvent yourself and ensure that you pursue certifications, online courses, or workshops that will help to, improve and build on that skill. Also expand your network, leverage on professional connections. That will be very helpful. Use social platforms like LinkedIn. Focus on transferable skills. And be open to change. And when I say be open to change, it means just consider adjacent roles. So don't allow yourself to be boxed in, right? So be flexible in your thoughts and in career opportunities and career roles that may exist. Strengthen financial resilience. So of course build an emergency fund to weather periods or instability and reduce stress during career transitions, right? Embrace innovation. That's also very important. Be proactive in job searches. So some of you may be looking for a job in a certain area and you don't pursue the search. So try and be very proactive and be on top of these searches. That's very important. Seek guidance. Very, very important. So don't allow yourself to be You know, I think arrogance has kind of taken over a lot of decision makings in our youth. You know, they're not. Most of our youth don't stay humble. So don't be too arrogant to ask for help. Don't be too arrogant to seek support. Don't be too arrogant to seek guidance. And seeking guidance, you know, try and identify a mentor or identify someone that you know you can feed off their energy. Very important. Yeah? Maintain a growth mindset, and finally, you know, just view uncertainties as opportunities, just like my MD said. He said, look at challenges as opportunities, and, you know, and be ready to grow, be ready to learn, and explore new directions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that talk. Yes, so the world is ever changing and there are challenges out there. Now we have support from our parents, you have support from your parents. Facing the real world is quite different. What other skills can you develop? You might like to know, we would like to ask Mr. Nathaniel, what role can commitment and diligence in young folks' career now and the future? What will help them? How can that commitment?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for staying this long. So when we are talking about commitment and diligence, I don't want us to see it lopsided. Commitment and diligence has to do with every task or assignment your hand finds to do. So if you are volunteering in SP, you are given an assignment, whatsoever task, even up down to your chores, you need to give everything the best of your ability. Don't be known for shabby work. I know a couple of young people. If somebody asks me to recommend, I won't recommend someone I know is not thorough. Someone I know could start and just throw in the towel. So you need to learn to follow through with every task. Anything that has been assigned to you, you have to be focused, because your commitment will speak for you down the line. So you find yourself in a volunteer group, or even a religious setting, and you just feel, well, it doesn't matter, nobody is paying me. I hear young people say that thing every now and then, that after all, they are not paying me. That's a wrong way to think. I'm not saying you should not get paid for work, but if a job has been assigned to me, whether I'm paid or not, I give it my best. If you don't want to give it your best, I would advise you not to accept it. But if you are given a task, make sure you give it your best. Go the extra mile. Find out, call people, do research, do everything you need to do, so that if somebody comes and say, this is what this person does, you will be proud. Sorry, this is what this person did. You'll be proud, you'll be confident to say, this is my stamp, this is my seal, this is my signature on my job. So I advise you, it's not just about your studies, every other thing you do. Be committed, be diligent, because of course people are observing, and over time you will see that value, that virtue get to open up doors and greater opportunities for you. Thank you.
Very much. So we need to develop qualities that will make us attractive to both our employers and people around us. So commitment, dedication are all important. We all know of the 5 a.m. rule. So if you want to be successful, what do? Wake up by 5 a.m. and the first thing you should do is make your bed. So wake up by 5 a.m., make your bed. You will see that the rest of the day will just go as if it's planned. You just project and things will be different. So let's start that. Let's be committed to do something every day. So I'll come back to you, sir. Sorry. I want you to let us know how fluctuating price of oil impact the technical decision-making process for field development projects.
I actually thought I was going to escape the questions. Yeah, thanks once again. Excuse me, everybody. I mentioned uncertainties. Price fluctuation is part of our everyday life. But petroleum economics, I think I spoke to Professor Elegari 2 days ago. He's currently, I think, in Morocco. He said he will be here next week. Professor Umi Elegari, he said he has a lecture for you guys. The reason why I mentioned him is a product of this place. He has been all over the world, in petroleum economics. Those who have been in that industry for decades, there is nothing new, especially in terms of prices, fluctuation. So that's the first established fact. We work in a cyclic market, up and down. But if you look at it, a friend of mine said, no matter how chaotic a situation is, there is a pattern. Just sit down, you watch that pattern. There is a pattern. Some things affect them. So if you begin to look at those telltale signs, you can make prediction. Now, so don't be scared that, oh, price fluctuations. Now, how do they affect decision making? They do affect them. One, because the business owners, your managing director, the asset owners, they want to make money. They want to drill. Future Fit Development Program, right? Prof was telling me last year that he wants to introduce that course. I don't know whether he has done it. FDP is a lot of work. Now, you need to go back, say 5, 10, 15 years. Some companies will say we want to just go 3 years down the line. Watch geopolitical occurrences. Know what is going on. Listen to news. I tell my engineers, don't just listen to, watch Big Brother or some of the sensational TV stations. I have no problem with anybody. But don't let them scare you. There's nothing that is happening now that has never happened before. So, when you are now involved in decision making, you need to say, okay, this is the trend in the last 5 years. Now, the next 2 years will be like this. You'll be able to build it. Now, people don't want to make decisions. They don't want to. Business owners don't want to. So it affects that decision making because they don't want to accept reality. I think it's Jack Welch also who said it came up with the reality principle. So we have to accept the reality. So now we need to be able to feed that reality into the business. Now you have some wells or some development projects that have been put on the shelf. Anytime price of oil drops, say below 50, everybody starts panicking. Oh, we're no longer drilling. We are releasing the rig. We are firing. Yes, they do that. But you know what? Don't panic. They're coming back. They are coming back. Those fields will still be developed. So, the way they react to it, they say you can change a situation by changing the way you look at that situation. So, as engineers, as professionals in this industry, we need to change our way, how we look at it, and study the trend. It affects our jobs, it affects the money in our pockets, it affects even government spendings. So when you look at next year's budget, you have to find out at what price did they forecast oil. Now, what is our current production? What is our current production? So what is the percentage of NMPC? How much, what stake of NMPC? average of 50% or 55%. So if Nigeria is producing 1.2 million barrels a day, 50% of that. Thank you. So at what price? So when people say, oh, this country is this, the money is not enough, so now you now begin to say, okay, this country is doing this. So you know that it will affect your people. But you must be able to accept it and advise them. Was it during COVID? People were like, oh, price of oil is now negative. Nigeria is finished. These people are no longer working in the office. It's going to be remote. You know what? I was not scared. I'm not here bragging. I told my colleagues, don't worry. We're like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm coming back. The industry bounced back. So maybe the next question, or what Madam said, you need to be prepared. So when the industry is down, equip yourself. Don't go away and say, no, I'm no longer interested in what I learned. I'm not going to study more. I'm not going to equip myself. The industry is gone. No, the industry is coming back. Watch the trend 15, 20 years back. So that is how it affects you, decision making, and your future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for breaking down, giving us that insightful answer to that question. So we'll go back to you, Engineer Momoto, and want to find out what are the critical steps in ensuring operational safety while reducing the carbon footprint in oil and gas projects.
Okay, so we'll talk about what our carbon footprints are. We'll talk about the operational safety part of it, right? So our carbon footprint just generally entails releasing greenhouse gases that they said has depleted our ozone layer, all of that, that's causing weather, climate change, all the jargons they always say, right? So as an industry, yes, if you follow the industry trend, there's been a shift, right? We can see we are moving rig operations to rigless operations, right? We are minimizing our spread, our equipment spread, like the number of equipment we use to carry out certain activities being reduced. So this is also further reducing our carbon footprint, right? For example, you might have an activity that you need to run about 12 items or equipment that use fuel, diesel. I know the amount of gas emission those equipment bring, and now we have new technologies that are coming out that will say, why? What's by using 12 different pieces of equipment? We can use just one equipment to deliver the same value. So that's really reducing our carbon footprint. Now, in reducing our carbon footprint, we still have to ensure that these activities that we are doing now are operationally safe, right? And how do we do this? We carry out various risk assessments, quantitative risk assessment, hazard identification, hazard and operability identification also. Now we incorporate all of these, right, into these activities and see how safe we can do it. In the industry, there is no activity that is 100% safe. Let no one bamboozle. I'm not here to bamboozle you that anything is safe. As little as the work program says, place this bottled water on the left side of the table. But clearly, you are looking at it like if it's on the right side of the table, there's nothing wrong with it, right? The people who have said, place it on the left-hand side, know why they have said so. They have carried out various risk assessments and have said anything could happen at that point if it's on the right, and it could lead to something catastrophic. So in essence, apart of carrying out this risk assessment, we also try to imbibe this culture of being safety focused, right? We say charity begins from home, correct? The same thing, safety begins from you and I. if I'm not conscious of being safe and you're working with me, you are also not safe. No matter how well the work program is written or whatnot, right? So, while we try to reduce our carbon footprint does not mean the activity is becoming safer. In short, it's even becoming more dangerous because there's a saying that a smooth road is very dangerous, correct? You can just overspeed and you meet your untimely death, right? But so by the time you see just one machine and it's not two machines, you feel okay, it's safe around here. No, it even makes it more scary because you might be get carried away. So we have to be safety conscious first, individually, and this will also apply to other our colleagues. And as I would like to say, we'll always be our brother's keeper in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much for letting us know that safety is all our business. So in whatever we do, we want to be safe, because if we are not there, all our plans, if we are not alive to carry out all our plans, then all we've been working for is nothing. So we amount to nothing. So let's be safe at all time, even here in schools, not just out there. So when we are out there, we also meet with, when you are out in the real working environment, you have to communicate with people. So Ms. Peters is going to tell us what communication skills are vital for bridging the gap between technical team and non-technical stakeholders, especially in project management.
Okay, thank you. So bridging the gap between technical teams and non-technical stakeholders in project management requires a blend of communication skills. And these communication skills ensure clarity, alignment, mutual understanding. So some of the skills needed for this include active listening. A lot of people don't even understand, what it entails, what active listening is really about, right? Active listening entails purpose and techniques. And so in purpose, you have to understand the needs, the concerns, and the perspective of both technical and non-technical parties. The techniques, paraphrasing what others say to confirm understanding. Now, just for clarity purposes, in communication, there are 4 key skills that a lot of people underrate. And these 4 factors in communication apply not just in the oil and gas space or in petroleum engineering. Now, in communication, we start with your choice of words. A lot of people don't understand that your choice of words carry weight. Number 2, your tone of voice. Your tone of voice, you can tell someone to go to hell and they will look forward to the trip. You can tell someone to go to hell and they'll be offended. So tone of voice is also it's a big factor. Number 3, your body language. Number 4, delivery. So these 4 factors, it's not just limited to good communication, but it's just so you find yourself understanding that good communication is so underrated. It's not, a lot of people don't understand that you can get your message put across when you learn the key skills in communicating. So back to the question. Another way to bridge the gap in between technical teams and non-technical stakeholders is also simplifying complex information. And simplifying complex information, of course, also has purpose and its techniques. Storytelling as well. Visual communication can also bridge a gap. Empathy also can bridge a gap. Tailoring communication, so ensure messages resonate with diverse audiences. Asking the right questions is very important, so you don't lose your train of thoughts or lose the message. conflict resolution, stakeholder management. This is build and maintain strong relationship across teams. Confidence and credibility is very important. Inspire trust by demonstrating authority and clarity in communication. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So, in order to move ahead, we still have.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that in communication is useless without feedback. So you can communicate and give all the information that you want to give out there, but if you don't get feedback to ensure that what you have communicated has been understood, it is useless. So I just wanted to add that once you have or engage in whatever kind of communication, whether with an audience or an individual, it's always very important to ensure that they understood the communication, or they understood the delivery, or understood what you were trying to say, because you could say something and it could be misunderstood, and then the action plan is off track, if you get what I mean. So communication is useless without what? Thank you.
Thank you for adding that. That's very, very important. So always ask for feedback so that you know that you've communicated. And also, when you're out there, you meet people that don't understand the jargon that is related to petroleum engineering. So you just don't go out there and tell them this, the Y, the X, this and that. Who don't understand. So you have to break it down, as she said. Just break it down to understandable pieces so that you will be able to send your message across. So what other soft skill, can you develop now? One important one that we want Mr. Nathaniel to answer is, what role does networking and mentorship play in shaping the career trajectory of students in this energy sector?
Thank you very much. So I will just be made since we started about networking and seeking guidance from our mentors. I know to thrive professionally, you cannot afford to be, let me use the word in quote, a vagabond. Somebody that you don't have a clear sense of direction. And the truth is, you cannot know that only by studying materials. You need somebody that has gone ahead to guide you. So I would encourage you to submit yourself to a mentor, give yourself to a tutor. Let the person guide you on how you can thrive professionally. I have a mentor in HR. There are times things come up in Gankco Energy Services. I would have to tell my boss, please give me some time. Why am I asking for some time? You think it's to go and ask ChatGPT? Not just that. I call my mentor. He is a busy person. He works with the British High Commission, over 30 years of experience in HR. Every advice that man gives to me is world class. So you cannot just say you want to be a petroleum engineer and you do it well just by reading books and all that. It won't work that way. You need somebody who has gone ahead of you in petroleum engineering to guide you. So you need to identify a mentor. So you can go for an SP event and you meet people. You also need to know how to approach them. Because one of the challenges people have when young people approach them for mentorship is they begin to feel insecure. Oh, this person doesn't want to exploit me. Sometimes some people reach out to their mentors asking for support, asking them for money and all that. That's a no-no. What you need a mentor for is to offer you guidance, professional advice. You are even the one that can reach out from time to time and say, sir, I got this, to appreciate you. Not you just think because this person has money and let the person just give you so and so amount of money to go and start one business. So no, that's not how it works. So you need to ensure that you've submitted to somebody. Then all the people you are relating with that seems like you are at the same level, I mean like your classmates, you need to also network with them, even those from other departments. Sometimes when we leave school 5 years, 10 years down the line, and we see some people where they are at, we used to wish that, I wish I had a better connection with that person. You can't predict where anybody in this room is going to be. So if you just want to judge people by the kind of clothes they wear, the perfume they wear and all that, you are misfiring. Yes, having a first class doesn't guarantee exploit in the marketplace. It does not. People graduate with third class and they go up high. So don't despise anybody. Make sure you are respectful. Make sure you are connected to people. So sometimes I hear some young people say, I misplaced my phone and I missed your number. That's a cake. Why do you have a Gmail account? You can't afford to miss people's number. And when you are saving people's numbers, save their name in a way that you will remember. If I show you some names on my phone, it's like 6 words. Why? Because that's how I can remember. I don't want to meet the person and say, where's your email? And then from time to time, you keep reaching out to them so that it's not when you need help that you contact the person. My mentor in HR is on my monthly messaging list. The least I can say hello to that guy is once a month. I may not need to contact him every month to say, give me such and such guidance. And I like him. Anytime he sees my monthly message, either on the first or second, he replies. So I'm building that kind of relationship with him that will help me thrive. So I encourage you to sit back, identify those you know you can submit to, and connect adequately with even those that are at your level. You know, sometimes we say we are classmates, that doesn't mean we are life mates, because our pace could differ. So don't despise anybody. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for that. I'm here too, I'm learning a lot. So finally, Engineer Olai, how can theoretical knowledge gained in academia be applied effectively in practical real-world scenarios? I know you've given us some during your talk, so just let us have.
I don't know how to express this, but let me just leverage on what Nathaniel said. In fact, there are 3 things, before I answer your question, because this is the last question, right? 3 things I want every one of you to remember today, and I'm talking about the students here. Number 1, take a risk on yourself. I'm not saying you should go and do risky things. No, I'm not saying you should go and jump down from the top of whatever, or you're working on a platform, offshore platform, instead of adhering to the safety rules, you decide to say, I want to take a risk. No, heroes are long gone. I'm talking about, don't pity yourself, don't have self-pity. Don't have pity on yourself by saying, no, my parents are not educated, or my parents are not rich. The fact that you even pass through the 4 walls of a university, you have gone almost 2 decades ahead of your parents. Our lecturers here, if they tell you what they went through before they are where they are today, it mentioned people who are great today. So don't pity yourself. Don't have that low self-esteem. That's number 1. I said, take a risk on yourself. That means don't pity yourself. Madam talks about investment. Invest in yourself. Your time, your energy is important. And Nathaniel talked about what? Mentorship. Identify a mentor. In the Gulf of Mexico, SPEUI there, they said I volunteered in the mentorship program. A guy from Ghana and I think another guy from, I'm not too sure whether Nigerian. So we used to chat. All of a sudden, they faded away. He said it. Please stay close to your mentors. You need to, learn things. They've been there. So those three things, write them down. For you to succeed, you need them. And you also need to get back, stay in touch with the academics. That's where some of us, what we did not do early, and we are trying to catch up now, make up for it. There are many things they see. There are many things because they have the time to research, to tell us. Now, how do you apply theoretical knowledge? What you don't have, you cannot give. If all you do here is to pass Professor Isenwa's class or Dr. Akintola's class, you are only good for the academic environment. This is an HR professional. She's a BDN. She read statistics. Madam read guidance and counseling. So a lot of things, of course, he is and I were from the same world. But we learn a lot from them. I was talking about resolution of forces. You think they are not needed. I was talking about shell chemistry in drilling, inorganic chemistry or so. That's why they teach you activity series, right?
Yes, sir.
If I tell you how I remember them those days, when I was a superintendent in Angola and we were drilling Malembo Shale sacked a lot of drilling engineers, trashed a lot of rigs because of the wrong water-based mud. And the Bayreuth and MI engineers will come, no, we've used calcium chloride, so. The other one will come, no, it's sodium chloride. And one more engineer said, guys, in the activity series, I was like, what the hell is it talking about? So and I went back. My O-level chemistry, King Solomon can make a zoo in London. Hydrogen couldn't make something good. That was the first 20 elements there. And I started insisting I will run potassium chloride. Because of what? Cations exchange, osmosis, and all those things. They are very, very important. I was trying to remember Monte Carlo simulation. When you're doing your course. So, how can you leverage? You can only leverage if you let them become part of you. Through pressure differential. You knock it through that system, you create 2 to 5 psi pressure differential, the solids drop. Guess what? That's no reservoir engineering. That is not logging and interpretation. That is pure mechanical. Fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, and strength of materials. We designed those flow lines ourselves. We chose the material. That this is how we want it. We sat down with all the engineers. Let's look at this way. If we bend it or we make it right angle, what will happen? If you make it right angle, you're going to introduce what? Erosion. Pipe roughness factor. You put it, or what do? They taught us this in fluid mechanics. I don't know where, sir. I don't know. Then Dr. A.B. where is he now? See, it's our professor, right? Wow. He taught us fluid mechanics school. I hated it with a passion. I'm confessing. Please don't be like me. I hated it with a passion. But you know what? He said something that I keep remembering. He said, guys, you're going to work with technicians. They know how, but they don't know why. You guys know why. And you will come, you will draw a pipe roughness factor, theta P here, theta P there. Guess what? Come to the rig. You understand that. When from the wellhead at the bending pool, you think your pressure there is 4,000 psi. No. By the time you get to the shaker, What you have frictional losses along it. So please, your filmmaking is important. Everything they teach you, remember. I'm not saying you should cram, but please try to study. After the exam, go back. Remember, everything we all waste our energy on, ChatGPT, Google, TikTok. Some people sat down to develop them and they are making money off us. They are making us to pay for them. Like Nathaniel said, those guys might not even as good as you are, but they sat down to do them. So please, remember them. From your old level mathematics, nothing is waste. It's a waste. No knowledge is ever wasted. If you remember them, you can practice them, you can apply them. If they give you a software, go back. Find out how that software works. When you're doing casing design, I'm not too sure they have time to teach you all the fundamentals of casing design in drilling. It's pure mechanical engineering, strength of materials. So if you do not like that course, or you always stab it, you better attend that class, do all your own work, read the courses. So you are going to apply them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So we thank our panelists, but then we'll entertain 3 questions from the audience, and our panelists will randomly answer. So who's going to help me with the mic? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone and panel. Thank you so much for the insightful session. My name is Ubaida Abdulasi. I'm currently in my final year studying petroleum engineering. So my question is directed to Engineer Ola Abiodun. So my question goes there that I know we are here in school, we are doing the theory academic parts. We rarely go to, some of us, our IT, we didn't even go to the rig or anything, so we don't know how those things work. So I wanted to ask in terms of research in academia and improving the research process in academia, I wanted to ask, you guys are the ones on the field, they are the ones seeing how the oil is going and everything. You guys, you probably know the problems that we are facing, you have the problems and all of that. Is there a way you can bring maybe these problems that you are facing on the field to the academia world, maybe for the students to bring about solutions and all of that, maybe using the current tools that we have in the world now, like the machine learning and AI, and give these solutions to you guys to solve it. Because though we do have this student paper context that occur from SPEUI, but they do not give us, they expect us to go and find the problems ourselves. But sometimes it's quite taxi and a bit hard to actually get this problem, since we are not, we've never been there, we don't even know the actual problems that are occurring in the industry. Only if we want to read a couple of papers and do a literature review and all of that. So I don't know if there are ways where industry people can help with students with some of the problems that are occurring in the industry and ease the process of course making research to find solutions to them. Thank you.
Sorry, I've forgotten your first name again. Goodbye. The first thing you need to do, say it. You have to be proactive. We have a lot to say. We have a lot to push to you. But students are unnecessarily preoccupied with things they shouldn't preoccupy themselves with. Honestly, knowledge, there's a lot out there to learn. You understand? So at least every week, identify someone. It may not be me, it may not be Eid, it may be Sarah, even in Gankco. But see, permit me to say that your generation, you're trying to bother yourself with things that shouldn't concern you. I left this school in 1994 to, I said 93, during Kokori, Babangida must go. the future was bleak, completely bleak. We thought we were not going to. ASU strike and all those things, Professor Agnon will make sure we come to class. NASU strike, he said, you guys should sweep the floor. That was Professor Osifo. He was teaching us engineering management then. But you know what he kept telling us? You think what we are teaching you is not useful, you will see. Guess what? When I went to serve, it will probably surprise you. I served the Nigerian Ports Authority. And I was not sent to engineering department. They sent me to HR department. I would deliberately come to work late. The man, Iradia, God blesses his soul now, he will say, Olaoye, I know you're a petroleum engineer, but you will finish your service in HR. You know, the day I got a breakthrough, the day I decided that there's a reason I'm here. There's something for me to learn here. And I stayed quietly. I started, they said I should be treating files, engineering students in HR. Not just in HR or in Shell, HR in Nigerian Ports Authority. What a misfit. I learned. So when you, like he said, you must identify someone to push to. But more for cell phones, WhatsApp, emails, LinkedIn, use these tools. Reach out. You don't have to be in the field. We can be at the website tomorrow and we're on video with you. We're showing you. We had a problem early this year with the well. And we were talking to our OEMs in Louisiana. We waited for them to wake up by 7 a.m. in the morning. We were on video. And we were showing them everything. We did a factory assessment test last month. He was in Louisiana. He was the only one. Walked around the entire fabrication yard in Lafayette with everybody present in their offices behind their computer. So leverage on technology. I can send you papers, but if I don't explain them to you, I can tell you tubing head pressure. Tubing head pressure is nothing. If you don't, like Mubarak said last week, he said, sir, things are now making sense. When they say petroleum engineering looks abstract, I say yes, in school it looks abstract. He said now I can see a wellhead, I can see one valve, I can see when they say door completion, I can understand. When they tell you sliding sleeve, sliding door, sleeve is like this. You move it. So you need people to explain to you, but you yourself, you cannot just sit back and expect me to be calling you, to be chasing you. I won't do that. You have to chase me. You have to call me, you have to send me messages, disturb me. Honestly, do. When you disturb, because you are I don't know what they say, you are only leaving me. Because if I can pass some things to you, say, oh, Khadija, right? Kubaida, can you do this word schematic? Please, there's something I've forgotten. Is it Euler's theory or whatever? Can you just use can you develop an algorithm that can predict from this are the constants? There's something I'm still trying to work on now, which is, heterogeneities, bit formation interaction. I gave it to some guys in Unibank. All these boys were telling me they were going to develop machine language. And they said, machine language. When I tell you I'm drilling through pyrite, do you even know what pyrite is? Do you know that logs may not even be able to pick pyrite until my pick tells me this is what I'm drilling, and I go to the shaker, I pick it. And when the pyrite is broken and it travels from 10,000 feet from the reservoir all the way to surface, it must have lost its what do you call it? Characteristics, or you understand? So I have to correlate it with logs, with cause, and all those things. But you and your colleagues can sit down and say, they taught us this, they taught us this. We can actually come up with a mathematical model. Don't be lazy. Thank you.
Thank you for the interactive session. My question goes to Engineer Natame. Okay. So, sir, you made mention that we shouldn't give up, we should continue. So, I wanted to ask, have you ever worked on a task and you felt like giving up? So, at that point, what did you do to complete that task? I thought you continue. And a second question, if you identify a mentor, and are trying to reach out to that mentor, after trying with no avail, what other method can we use to get that attention of that person?
Okay, thank you very much. So trying and failing is it's commonplace. When I was taking my trying to join the chartered HR body, I flopped one of the courses, but I didn't stop. I needed the certification. I had to take it again. So you have to keep trying, except if you did not clearly identify the goal. If the goal is clearly set in your mind, you have to keep pursuing it and gather every necessary support you can. You may need to revert to those who have passed through that situation. So like in my case, I could go to a CIPM platform and ask, this course, how did you pass? Some people will send some tutorial videos that they consulted. So you can now use those tools they are giving to you to scale through the situation, because those people have gone through those challenges that you have gone through. Secondly, you asked about is it reaching out to a mentor? Okay, after you've tried. Now, it depends on where you are meeting that mentor. Okay, like in my case, I met my mentor in a CIPM conference. I had a lot of hesitation. I think in that conference that year, he was the keynote speaker. I had a lot of hesitation. How will I meet this guy that seemed to have a lot of years experience? But of course, I had to stand up, gather the boldness during the breakout session. And I told him, of course, when you ask such people for their contacts, they could hesitate. I didn't want a LinkedIn connection. I wanted his number. But give me his number. So when I came home, thank God for AI, I asked AI, what message would you send to someone you just met at the conference? Don't laugh at me. You need to use AI well, right? So I asked AI, of course, I got it, refined it, and I sent it to him. And he acknowledged. That was by SMS. Before you know what, we could now have a WhatsApp conversation. I think either 2 months ago, I was trying to reach him, he was so busy. He said he would call me back. He called me back on normal call for over 30 minutes. So you cannot stop, but look for a mentor that is near you, a mentor you can easily approach. Sometimes when you get into LinkedIn, send people messages, they may not respond again and again, except you want to keep trying. But there should be someone around you that you can easily approach. And I tell you, one of the places you can easily meet those people is when you go for conferences where other industry experts will be gathered. Most times, those conferences are subsidized for student members. So like our last CIPM conference that me and my colleague went for, it was 100K for us. But for student members, I think it was about 20 or 30,000. If you tell a student, you need to pay 20 or 30,000 to go for what? But you can spend 20 or 30K for other things. Some of us, our device costs a lot of money. Our price to go and sell the phone and get knowledge. Sell the phone, buy it. You want to use an iPhone. If you can afford it, fine. But you need to have a budget for knowledge, a budget for networking. That should be what should take the bulk of your funds at this stage. I tell you, there's a level you will get to, you don't have to struggle to buy a phone. At the snap of your finger, phones will come. Because you've been able to build up your net worth. I tell you that is just the truth. Engineer Olaoye cannot be praying to buy a phone. Buying a phone for him, is it a prayer point? No. If he wants a phone tomorrow, I'm not trying to brag, he will get a phone. But 30 years ago, that was not the case. Sir, was that the case 30 years ago? There was no even phones at that time. So please just stay focused and prioritize on what matters the most. Thank you.
Let's have another question from this angle.
Good morning. My name is Mogejo.
Come on, body.
Mr. Olori, you talked about how people see us as bad engineers or bad people, especially like petroleum engineers that we solve the world and everything. So I feel we talked about the industry and how problems and the good side of the industry. But I feel like there's one problem we have not really emphasized on, and that is about people that are not even in petroleum engineering. Somebody reached out to me, a job by reached out to me, and he was like, oh, he wants to go to petroleum engineering, but his parents are influencing his decision due to the fact that fossil fuel is dying out and he should go into like other aspects that are more thriving. So, I mean, I tried in my own little way, but every argument I raised up, the parents had 500 other words to back it up. So how do you actually like tell people out there that, okay, we are actually still a thriving industry and coming into petroleum engineering is not a bad thing, but actually a blessing? So how do you combat that?
Well, I didn't say that we are bad engineers. I said people say we are bad guys. You understand? For anybody who wants to come into petroleum engineering, the only thing you can tell him is that petroleum engineering is just application of all the engineering disciplines to develop fossil fuel. When we came in, the issue of global warming wasn't pronounced. It is no longer scientific, it's political. So when he asks you to guide him or to advise, tell him that you cannot appreciate petroleum engineering until you actually finish and you are out there. It's difficult. A lot of people got into petroleum engineering not because that was their first choice, or either because they tried to get into computer science or medicine. My days, the cutoff mark was below computer against, but today I understand it's either second highest or so. You have to be convinced. And if you're convinced yourself, you'll be able to educate people about petroleum engineering. You are actually in the energy sector. Like I've been saying, you can work in construction industry. You can work in water resources. Your knowledge, the knowledge you're acquiring is so much, so huge that you have no business working for anybody. But I'm not saying right out of the door. People are going to pay you for your knowledge because you're so rich. And number one reason is because of the uncertainties you're dealing with. So the best way to guide that person, you have to first of all know that course. Understand what that course is all about. Fossil fuel is not going anywhere. I don't know if anybody knows Guyana. Is it Guyana or so? Guyana, sorry about that. Guyana made huge discovery. Namibia is just coming in. And you're telling those people who are in the countries are suffering and they discover oil, they should go and forget it. Amazon, you know how many rigs in Gulf of Mexico today, as we speak today? That is petroleum engineering. Our goal, like I said, is to make it sustainable. Come up with cleaner energy. It's talked about reducing carbon footprint. Everything, majority of the things in all this green energy, they come from what? Fossil fuel. So you need to be able to, unfortunately, because of limited knowledge and experience, it's going to be difficult for someone like you. That is why go back to mentorship. People who can guide you. You can be in 500 level, you think this is all you know about petroleum engineering. I kid you not. Hope I've answered the question.
So we'll take a final address from Ms. Naomi Peters.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pity this is the final address. I really don't want to end this. I am really enjoying this opportunity to talk to you men and women, and I see that you guys are going to go out there and do great exploits. I can only wish the best for you all. I want each and every one of you to look within yourself. And the first time someone told me to look within myself and identify my strength, I was like, what do you mean? Strength where? But eventually, over time, I got to understand that, you know what? We all have some measure of strength within us. Because I used to ask myself, what is my strength? Just like my MD said, I studied guidance and counseling. Who can believe that? And when I started Gankco Energy, the only thing I knew about oil and gas was how to spell oil and gas. I had no idea. So fast forward to now, look at Gankco. So my point is, look within yourself and feed your energy. Feed your strength, starve your weaknesses. We all have strengths within us and we have weaknesses, right? Each and every one of us have something within us that we're not proud of, or we just don't want to encourage or enable. Identify what that thing is and starve it, because that thing may be the thing that would slow you down or stop you from encountering or achieving whatever dreams that you have. And then also identify what your strengths are. And guess what? Your strengths do not necessarily have to be petroleum or something overly big. Your strengths could even be public speaking. Feed it. Now, when I was talking about communication, I wanted to make something clear. Get into the habit of making people, when they come to you to talk to you about whatever situation it is, let people feel comfortable talking to you. Let them see talking to you as a safe space. Because our youth of today, they don't know how to keep information within themselves. Someone tells you something that is personal or something that is like a secret, and you get into the habit of, you see someone else, I have gist for you. Don't say I said, but the gist is hot. It's not a healthy attitude. So try and get into the habit of keeping information within yourself. When someone comes to you, let them see that encounter as a safe space. It is so important. When I talked about body language, when someone comes to you to tell you, guys, girls, and say, I went out last night, I drank, I met this girl. Don't let the first thing you say be, hey, God. Automatically, you don't let them want to continue the conversation, because guess what? You judge them, right? So just don't judge. We listen. Exactly, I know, right? So just try and ensure that the factors that I raised, your body language, your tone of voice, your choice of words, and your delivery, relearn those things is very important. And it is an attitude skill. And like my grandmother always told me, she said, your attitude will determine what? Your altitude. So try and get into the habit of relearning how to communicate. When someone comes to you to talk to you about something, don't judge, because you're not any better. Because when they open your own is probably even worse. But let people be comfortable with telling you things and get into the habit of keeping things personal. Don't get into the habit of sharing what they've told you, because it may turn the other way. When someone is telling you something that is very sensitive, try and comport yourself. And don't be too quick to get, hey, God, hey. Just try and comport yourself. And see yourself as a counselor, quote unquote, that they can come to and share whatever they want to share with you. Thank you.
You are dismissed. Thank you.
Please, we want.
I'm losing, you pity me. Oh, Joe, pity me.
Okay, we have an activity. I will need everyone to get connected to. You need your mobile phone and your data needs to be on because this platform can only accommodate 50 participants. So the first 50 to join gets to play. Say the top 5, top 7 will be able to pick tickets. So everybody can play. Yes. But only 50 can be in there.
No go use anything. Yeah? My phone.